Hey, Bronze Medal Moms, it's Amy Welch. Amanda and I are off this week for the holidays, so we are re-releasing a listener favorite. Originally recorded in May, Dinnertime is an all too relatable episode. We thought you may enjoy this fan favorite. We'll be back next week, so in the meantime, we hope you had a wonderful holiday and Happy New Year. We are so grateful to all of our listeners. Thank you for everything. Without further ado, here is the episode, Dinnertime.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Bronze Medal Moms. We aren't going for gold. We're going for bronze on the daily. I'm Amy.
And I'm Amanda, and we are here to remind you that you don't have to be perfect to show up, survive, and even thrive in motherhood.
Well, welcome to another episode of the Bronze Medal Moms podcast. I know you guys missed us. I missed us. Did you miss us?
I did. I missed you guys.
I did too. So tonight's episode, or today's episode, or I guess it doesn't even matter. It's whenever you listen. This episode is about kids and eating, and specifically dinner time in this modern day life, right? Because it's not 1950 anymore, and that's okay. So,
and can we clarify that this is close to dinner time because I'm drinking wine? I'm not judging if someone drinks it in the morning, but if it's in the morning, it should be a mimosa. So.
Oh, there you go. That's right.
Or a screwdriver also.
Maybe we'll do an episode on the best way to make a mimosa. So I got a question for you, Amanda. How many actual sit-down family dinners with like parents and kiddos have you had this past week?
Let's define dinner. What dinner is, first of all. I think food has been consumed by like standing around the kitchen counter. Food has been consumed in my home. Let's say that.
That counts.
Consumed in my home successfully.
I think that counts. So on today's episode, we are tackling the chaos of modern family dinners. And spoiler alert, it's a little bit different than the family meals we grew up with, because I remember, and I was a sports kid. I had things after school. I had practice, but I still remember almost every family meal was sitting around the dinner table with my brother and my parents almost every single night. And now, yeah, I don't know. I only have one kid, so we'll talk about mine. I have one versus your three. But how do people do it? I have one kid, and I feel like maybe we could get one night a week. Maybe sitting around.
I remember always sitting around the dinner table with my parents. I had two working parents. My sister was completely busy with all her stuff. I was completely busy with my stuff. My dad traveled all the time, and still we would sit down and have dinner. Like it wasn't like I don't know. And maybe that's how we're choosing to remember it, that it didn't feel rushed. But I think that's something that's really good to talk about, is the way that you perceive dinner and the way your kids perceive dinner. Because you might put together this last minute charcuterie board that you like throw on a plate and slap some lunch meat, cheese, throw a thing of grapes on there, and don't even cut up the strawberries, just throw them all on there for color. I think it's terrible. And your kids might think this is the greatest thing they've ever seen. You might watch it or eat it while watching their favorite movie, and they think this is the greatest memory ever. And they're like, oh, I remember mom did this. And here you are thinking, oh my gosh, I totally failed tonight because nothing was cooked. I don't even know where half that came from. You know, like we have to also put ourselves in the kids' eyes that I guarantee if our moms could watch this, they would be like, no, we never.
That is a really good point. I do remember, I remember several meals that we had over and over that were like staples in our family. And one of them was like green peas and frozen fish sticks. That is something you can throw together, right? Like really quickly. So you're right. Maybe like on my parents' end, they were like, okay, this feels like not a good dinner. And as a kid, I'm like, oh no, this is great. But
I don't know say that because I made sausage, just like you buy the big turkey sausage link. We had that. And one night I made that and mac and cheese. And I was like, this is dinner. And my husband's like, what are you saying? This is not dinner. And I was like, this is a totally acceptable dinner. It's totally fine. This is what I ate growing up. And little side note, I'll say this. My mom has passed, but when she passed, we went through her stuff and we found her old recipe book. It was one of those like boxes, that had all the recipe cards
It's a
in
card. Yeah.
it. And it was full. 3 of the cards contained meat. Everything else was gelatin based or an alcoholic beverage. She had a whole card for a gin and tonic.
I love that.
Add tonic, lime if wanted.
I love that.
Bring that one.
That's so great. We should do a whole episode on that because I have my grandmother's recipe box and there is a lot of Jell-O with weird ingredients in her box. I think Jell-O must have been invented back in the 50s and 60s. That's why like all the recipe cards involved Jell-O because it was so new or something. But
maybe Jell-O was like maybe Jell-O was like the casserole.
Maybe.
Like, make it in advance and they're like, yes, tune in. Oh,
yeah. I don't know. To me, dinner nowadays, it kind of feels like a scavenger hunt. One, I go through these like cycles. Sometimes we get really good at meal planning and we know what we're making. I'm also one of those people that having to think of and cook dinner every day for the rest of my life and as an adult, I get no joy out of that. Like it's just, I don't, that's not me. So between my husband and I, if we're not planning our dinners, it does feel like a scavenger hunt. It's like, what do we have? What are you going to eat? What am I going to eat? Adelaide and I might eat when she gets home from school. Steve may eat if he gets home from work. And I feel like it's just, we're all over the place. But maybe I have to let go of that kind of thinking that we all have to be at the dinner table every single night.
Yes. And look at that, what you just said about your parents. Like, let that give us some grace too, that you had these, like, you remember these certain meals that were acceptable meals. And it's making me wonder, like, I try when I think of like, what do we have for dinner this week? And I go to the grocery store, I'm always trying to look up something fun and new and exciting. Like, why?
That's so true. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Why don't we just have like Monday spaghetti? Move on.
Right. Well, I can list off like 5 or 6 meals that we had over and over and over all the time. So maybe that's how they were able to make it feel like we had dinner on the table every night because they weren't spending all of their headspace and time trying to look up some new recipe. They were just, this is what we're doing. Yeah. The same.
Best is ruined as for recipe. But I found this really interesting thing from the National Institute of Health because I have picky eaters. My bookend kids are the pickiest of eaters. I don't think the baby's really not even still eating food. He's almost 3. He's like loves pouches and bananas. That's it.
Yeah.
But everyone's probably like, what are you doing? No, it's fine.
No,
He's fine.
He's fine.
But
it's the bronze medal way.
Stuff from the National Institute of Health, and I was typing it in, I thought, what is the most important thing for kids to eat? Like, is it protein? Is it watching their sugar? Is it all this stuff? And it said the most important factor for a child's diet are their experiences with food, their family's habits, and the role models they see. So what's most important is creating this happy relationship with food and not like a stressor, and not telling your kids like, you can't eat that, or even beating yourself up as a mom saying, oh my gosh, this wasn't the healthiest meal. This is so unhealthy. What are we doing? Like, instead making, whether you're grazing or sitting down to eat a meal, making that a joyful experience for your kids is actually the healthiest thing for them.
I love that. And I am so glad that NIH, that's what they said was the most important. Like, thank you for bringing up that stat because I feel like I'm winning all of a sudden. Like, this is great. And my daughter has not had a vegetable willingly since probably 2019. Now, if she were on here, she would tell you that, yes, she has because she loves potatoes and she loves peas. But to me, those barely count. Like when she was little, so she's 11 now, when she was much younger, I mean, we were the parents who could never eat off the kids' menu because she did not do mac and cheese and nuggets. She wanted grilled chicken and steamed broccoli and like grilled fish. And
I remember you telling me when she went through her salmon phase for lunch that I was like, how does your child do this?
Oh, yeah. Well, now she'll eat salmon for breakfast. In fact, she has not had a vegetable willingly, like I said, a green vegetable. But you know what? I'm okay with that. And I'm really sensitive because she is a girl of giving her any sort of issues with food. Because let's be honest, women are going to have enough issues, right, as we get older. So I never have once shamed her for not eating vegetables, told her she couldn't eat something, told her anything was off limits. It's all about just listening to your body. What do you want? Are you full? Are you hungry? Are you making some healthy choices before you dig into the ice cream? But I've never wanted anything to be off limits because I have seen kiddos come over to my house. And when things are so off limits in their house, I have found them hiding in my pantry, like eating all the snacks, right? Like hoarding all the snacks because they're so off limits at their house. So taking that
And you feel like, then you're like, I don't want that kid to come over. They ate my whole pantry.
I know. I was like, you ate all my snacks. But I let go of the notion, and maybe I think this is like a bronze medal mom win. I let go of the notion that everything had to fit in a box. Like Adelaide doesn't like typical breakfast foods. She will eat a tuna pouch on the way to school. And I realized, oh my goodness, that's fabulous because it's a ton of protein and it's probably healthier than a donut, right? And so, I mean, I think we got to let go of these typical, like, who says you can't have eggs and toast at 7 o'clock for dinner or tuna for breakfast, right? Or the charcuterie boards. One of my favorite mom hacks. If I tell Adelaide for lunch, she's going to have like some raw carrots and a granola bar and some tuna fish. Like if I tell her she's going to have this, she's like, no, not in the mood for that. If I take those same things and I put them in teeny little containers and bowls and sit all of those on a big tray,
make it pretty,
take everything out of the package, whatever it is, and put it in those little cute bowls and stick it on a tray, she loves it. And that's what I make when her friends come over. I'm like, do you want a little charcuterie snack tray? They're like, oh, yes, please. But if so that's my favorite little mom hack. But I think we have to let it go.
Bringing up the protein intake, because that is such a hot button for everyone, right? Like protein. And I also looked that up, that protein for kids ages 1 to 3, which really that kind of differs also because it's about a half a gram of protein per pound of the kid. So like if you got a little skinny kid or a big kid, but it's about 13 grams of protein is what they need for the day.
Oh, wow.
Then you've got kids 4 to 8, 19 grams of protein, 9 to 13. So that's the sweet spot for our oldest. 34 grams of protein. So let's look at this charcuterie board. I don't know, I'm doing this because that's what it is, but let's call it dinner charcuterie board. A deli slice of turkey averages 6 grams of protein. A slice of cheese averages 7. So if they have one thing of turkey, one thing of cheese, they're already at 13 grams of protein. They're already doing great for the day. You can fill the rest with whatever carbs and sugars you want, but a lot of moms get so hung up in they have to have protein, they have to be balanced, it has to be perfect. And when you realize, like, wow, this dinner I just put together, this dinner of sausage and mac and cheese actually has great protein and great carbs.
Yeah.
They're going to sleep like rock stars. Hooray for me.
Yep. I love it. I think we have to let go of the idea that everything has to be perfectly planned, perfectly balanced at the table, on plates, all together, because I think that's where we're stressing ourselves out as mom.
Exactly. Excuse me.
Yeah. And,
oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I'm in that camp. I have told my husband so often, like, we've got to get down and we have to have dinners at the table. And I know there is a lot of research. I wish I'd have looked this up. There is a lot of research around, right, families who eat dinner together. I think they have better communication and there's all this stuff around the dinner table. So that's what I was getting hung up in. But as long as you're having those moments of connection someplace else, right? Maybe it's
100%.
Maybe it's at the kitchen island in the morning. Maybe it's in the car on the way to school. Like whatever those moments of connection are, as long as you're getting them, I think we can take that pressure off of having those kind of sit down 5-day-a-week meals at the table. And hey, if you guys are a family listening who can do that, that is awesome. But please share your secret. By the time we get home from school, by the time my husband gets home from work, there is not enough time for a sit down dinner before we have to go to rehearsal. Or we don't even come home before rehearsal, and we're not getting home from rehearsal until 9:30 at night. And that's too late for dinner for us, right? So I would love to know from some of our listeners how they do it, if they have figured out how to do a sit down meal more than
Well, and I had a friend tell me this really good advice. So, if y'all know from my intro, I had a baby girl, baby boy, 2.5 years apart, totally, average American. And then we had a surprise baby, 6 years later. Is that right? 6 years? Yes. Eight,
yeah,
6.
that's the math. Yeah.
I had to do the math right now because right now they're 11, 8, and 2. But I was asking my friends, so this baby just like took us for a whirlwind. Everything was off kilter. I was like, I don't know how we're doing this. I went back to work 4 days a week to help pay for the baby. I was like, I don't know how to do anything. And this girlfriend gave me this great advice. She had 2 kids and a surprise baby too. And she said, give yourself grace to have one meal at the dinner table a week. She's like, and you think it's going to be Sunday, it's not Sunday. Give it another day. And our day ended up being Tuesday. Tuesday's our day. We have dinner at the table. It's all laid out. We do what we call rose, thorn, daffodil. So something that made you smile, something that made you sad, and something that made you laugh today. And we hear from all the kids. And what that does is just what you said. It's that moment of connection with the kids. But we also don't limit that to that's our only night. Like maybe on the drive home from school, we then do a quick rose, thorn, daffodil type thing. Or maybe we do it before bed. If some nights, the kids are eating at the island, my husband and I are at the coffee table eating, and the baby's having a pouch on the couch, that's fine. If everyone's getting what they need, but we're checking in and still having these moments of connection with them, you're still winning. You're still doing a great job.
I love that. And I love the goal. To me, it seems doable for one day a week, but you're right. Don't try to cram it on a day that sounds good. Do it on a day that's actually going to fit your schedule.
It's that Norman Rockwell, you think it should be Sunday night family dinners. And it's like, no, Sundays is when none of the homework got done for the weekend. All of a sudden there's a surprise project. So-and-so had a soccer tournament. You're like, no, Sundays are horrible. They're really difficult.
Right. I love that. And now I'm thinking ours may be like Mondays or Wednesdays. Maybe Wednesdays. I like that. I like that. And I think, I don't know about our listeners, if anyone else has that goal, I would love to hear, but I think I am going to try. And it doesn't mean I'm going to cook a full meal. I'm just going to try to get us all around the table one day a week.
Right. 100%. It could be a charcuterie board at the table.
Right.
Totally fine. But it's that idea of at the table. And I guarantee, watch, 20 years from now, our kids will be having like, oh, we always ate at the table. Yeah, that was once a week.
So I love this is like the bronze medal mom approach, right? So we're going to highlight the beauty of like modern day meals. We're going to take the pressure off. We're going to normalize imperfection. And it's no longer about these rigid traditions, right? It's going to be finding what works for our family, even if that's one night a week and they're eating frozen waffles. Right? Like,
you know what I would love to hear? I would love to hear, you were saying like, moms, if you're doing this, points to you. You're the unicorn. We love you. You got the gold medal. You're amazing. We're still on the podium celebrating you. We're just not at the top.
Right.
But what is your go-to meals? How are you, like, what's your favorite recipe that you're like, I made this and I put it in the freezer for 3 months and it's still good?
That is so good.
That's what I want to know.
You know something I did. So we have always been the type of parents, especially as Adelaide's gotten older, like you eat what we fix. If you don't like that, then she's old enough now, she's welcome to fix something else. I'm not going to force her to eat. So, I grew up where it was like, if you take it, you eat it, right? You got to finish everything on your plate. And, it doesn't matter if you don't like it, you're going to eat it. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do that with my kiddo. I'm not going to force her to eat something she doesn't like. But that also means I have a list of her favorite meals. So when I'm not sure, I'm like, oh, Adelaide really likes this. Now, that doesn't mean we don't try new things. We had a rule ever since she was little that she had to take 3 bites before she could tell us she didn't like something. Because like the first one doesn't count. And she would take like a barely teeny tiny bite.
It's like this
Yeah, exactly. A little lick, right? They just like lick it. I'm like, no. And then the second one, so that she had to take 3 bites. So we do try new foods, but I have found it's on my refrigerator right now, like her favorite meals and dinners. So that helps me a little bit to know, like, okay, I know she's going to eat this tonight, having those little cheat sheets, but maybe I'll share those.
You just want to get them fed so they'll sleep well.
Yeah, exactly. And I can share those in the show notes too. So, I don't know. I love it. But, if you're a listener and if your kid hasn't eaten a vegetable either since 2019, you're not alone. And I promise you, it's okay.
We're with you.
Yeah, we're with you. But if they have, like, you're an amazing unicorn, and I would love to know. Now, I know, like, a friend of mine, her kiddos love raw vegetables. Like, that is their go-to snack. And, like, kudos to her. I'm not sure she actually did anything that any of us could, like, replicate. I think that's just her kiddos. So when they come over here, I always have fresh veggies, raw veggies for them. Adelaide still won't eat it, but
my bookends, no vegetables. The middle one, he would love a big plate of steamed broccoli and veggies every night.
Yeah.
All he does is eat vegetables.
Yeah, I love that.
And steak, vegetables and steak. The other ones are like sugar, carbs.
Oh yeah,
Mine's healthy.
Mine's a carnivore. I even bought one of those books, those recipe books on how to hide veggies in foods.
Yes.
It worked until she saw it. I mean, when your kid sees you cooking and has the book and it literally says hiding vegetables in food, she's like, I'm out. I know there's spinach in that tomato sauce.
When did you learn how to read?
I know. I'm like, dang it, mom fail. I'm like, all right, forget it. I'm not doing that. So we want to hear from our listeners. Like Amanda said, drop it here in the comments, or if you follow us on Instagram, let us know. We want to know kind of what is the kind of craziest dinner you've served or the best family mealtime fail. Message us or tag us. And do you have anything before we give them a teaser on our next episode?
No, I'm done talking.
Me too.
I'm done talking about food.
Listen, I'm excited for the next episode because we're going to dive into the world of Carline. It is one of my favorite topics. I go live almost every day and I call it Carline Confessions. I cannot wait to do a podcast episode on this.
I will tell you, I would love to find a mom who actually says, you know what I love? Carline. I love it.
That's the unicorn.
No, right. That's the unicorn. Nobody likes Carline. It's a total train wreck.
I can't wait. All right. Join us on our next episode. You're not going to want to miss it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to our moms on Bronzeville Moms. Don't forget to subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you. See you soon.